You know, when you walk through an old neighborhood, the houses almost feel like old friends. The porches creak, the windows are tall, and every little detail has a story to tell. Back then, homes weren't just built to live in. They were built to last, to stand proud, and to carry memories. But many of those styles, the ones our parents and grandparents knew so well, just aren't being built anymore. So let's take a walk down memory lane together and look at 10 old house styles that have quietly slipped away. 1. The Victorian Dream. Victorian houses were something to see. Big porches, towers that reach the sky, and trimmed so fancy it looked like lace carved from wood. Inside, the rooms were grand. Fireplaces, tall ceilings, parlors meant just for company. But all that beauty came with a price. They were expensive and time-consuming to build, and after the turn of the century, folks started wanting simpler homes. That's why today, when you spot one, it feels like you've stumbled across a piece of living history. 2. The Sears Kit Home. Believe it or not, people once ordered their houses the same way we order furniture today. From 1908 until the 1940s, you could flip through a Sears catalog, pick a design, and have all the pieces shipped to you by train. Families would build them together, and the pride in owning your own home was enormous. But the Depression hit, and over time, building changed. The mail-order dream faded. Still, thousands of those homes are standing quietly today, and most neighbors don't even know they started life in a catalog. 3. The Shotgun House. Shotgun houses were simple, long, narrow, and straight through. You could open the front door and see right out the back. They popped up in southern towns, painted in bright colors, lined up one after another. They weren't fancy, but they were full of life. Families on the porch, kids running from room to room. As time went on, families wanted more space and privacy, and the shotguns slowly disappeared. Today, they mostly survive in historic parts of cities like New Orleans. 4. The Mid-Century Ranch. If you grew up in the 50s or 60s, you know the ranch house. Low to the ground, stretched wide, with sliding doors that led straight into backyard. Summers meant kids running in and out, barbecue smoke in the air, the sound of screen doors slamming. They were perfect for the growing suburbs and for families who loved having everything on one floor. But as land prices rose, wide ranches took up too much space. Taller homes took over. Even so, the ranch house still feels like pure mid-century America. 5. The Craftsman Bungalow. Craftsman bungalows were small, but they were built with heart. Wide porches, thick wood beams, and little details like built-in bookshelves that made the house feel warm. You'd see neighbors rocking on their porches, waving to each other as kids rode by on bikes. But handcrafting woodwork took time and money, and after World War II, mass production replaced craftsmanship. Today, the few that remain are cherished because they've got a soul you don't find in new builds. 6. The Tudor Revival. Tudor homes look like they've been plucked out of an old English village. Steep roofs, heavy brick, and those half-timber details that gave them such charm. In the 1920s and 30s, they were the dream homes of many Americans, sturdy, romantic, and full of character. But building them was pricey, and when the post-war boom came, simpler homes were in demand. Now, Tudors are rare, and when you see one, it feels like a storybook house standing proud on the block. 7. The Cape Cod Classic. Cape Cod houses were no frills, practical and cozy. A chimney in the middle, dormer windows up top, and small rooms that just felt safe. After World War II, they became the starter home for thousands of returning soldiers and their families. They weren't big, but they were honest. They were home. Over the years, though, as families wanted bigger kitchens and open living spaces, the Cape Cod quietly slipped into the past. 8. The Octagon House. This one always gets a smile. Yes, some people actually built 8-sided houses. Back in the mid-1800s, a man named Orson Fowler swore the shape was healthier. More light, more air, better living. For a while, the idea caught on. They were odd but eye-catching. But the fad burned out fast. And by the end of the century, almost nobody was building them anymore. Today, when you stumble across one, it feels like a quirky time capsule from another age. 9. the split-level ranch. Ah, the split level. You'd open the front door and have a choice. A few steps up to the bedrooms, or a few steps down to the rec room. They were perfect for families in the 60s and 70s. Quiet upstairs, noise and laughter downstairs. And of course, many of us remember the shag carpeting, the wood paneling, maybe even a basement bar. But eventually, folks grew tired of the chopped-up layout, and the open floor plan took over. Still, for those who grew up in one, a split level feels like home. 10. The A-Frame Getaway. The A-Frame was all about escape. A tall triangle of glass and wood, often tucked away near lakes or mountains. In the 60s and 70s, families built them as vacation cabins. Inside, the ceilings were high. The windows flooded the room with light. They felt adventurous, like a lodge in the wilderness. But fashions changed, and by the 80s, the A-Frame had mostly faded. These days, you'll find them as retro vacation rentals, a reminder when leisure had its own style. Houses hold more than families. They hold time. They remind us of the way life used to feel. Porches full of voices, with floors that creaked, kitchens where the smell of dinner filled every corner. The styles may not be built anymore, but the memories live on brick by brick. So tell me, which of these houses feels closest to home for you? Share your stories in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip through the past, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because even when the houses are gone, the memories never leave.